Maybe I should put the bread in here before. Are you filming?
Yeah, I'm just getting the camera ready, making sure everything's set.
Bloopers.
Just tell me when to say anything.
Okay. Well, what are you doing now?
Okay, I'm just getting this ready. I just want to say, of course, you have to have tomatoes simmering because your meatballs have to cook in the tomato sauce or gravy, as we call it. So that's been simmering a while. We use the same spices, condiments in the tomatoes as I do with the meatballs. And I want to say that there are shortcuts, and I've tried them all, and it doesn't work. Your meatballs will not come out the same. You can bake meatballs and then put them in your tomatoes. You can put the meatballs raw and boil them in your tomatoes. They will never come out the same. So I have here my ingredients set out. I also have some sausage that I pre-cooked. They just need to be browned. And I put those in the tomatoes. After the tomatoes have simmered and I've seasoned them, I keep them simmering. And whatever other meat you want to use, hot sausage, sweet sausage, pork, whatever, and then they can go into the tomatoes once I feel as though the tomatoes have simmered enough. And these are the ingredients I use: salt, pepper, oregano, basil, parsley, and some breadcrumbs. Grated cheese is very important. I like Romano and Parmesan mixed. And I also grind up some of my own bread for the breadcrumbs. Years ago, they used to take the bread, put it in the milk, soften it up, and then put it in the hamburger. Today, I grind up the bread and I put a little milk. The milk keeps the hamburger a little bit soft, and like I say, those are your ingredients. So, and there's eggs, and I'll tell you that as I go along. We'll get the hamburger.
Sounds good.
This is 2.5 pounds of hamburger. This one is a little bit different because sometimes I'll buy a roast and I'll have them grind up my hamburger. If there's a roast on sale, like a bottom of the round or top of the round, I'll ask the butcher if he will grind it for me, and you have it ground twice. It's a little bit of a money saver because if you get a roast that's $2.99 a pound as opposed to hamburger $6.99 or $7.99 a pound, you're saving some money. And the meat's better, and you don't have as much fat in it. So I'm putting the hamburger. Okay, and I wash my hands about 1,000 times because I don't like using plastic gloves that I don't get the feel of, the texture of the meat. If it's for company, I use the plastic gloves, but if it's just for us, I don't. So I've got to spread the hamburger out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing, and everything is by eye. So I'm going to do salt. If it's a lot of hamburger, I'll do it on one side and then the other. Okay, so I kind of like cover the hamburger. Same with the pepper. I cover it. This one I might roll over twice because there is quite a bit. Oregano, I just sprinkle, cover the top. I don't care for too much oregano. And also the basil. The basil can taste like a little minty, so we don't want to overdo with the basil. I'm more favorite of the parsley, which doesn't have a strong flavor, but it does flavor the meatballs nicely. So I do a little more parsley. And I go by look and smell. So if you look, it's like covered evenly. Okay. And this, like I said, is 2.5 pounds of hamburger. And I'm using 3 eggs. For whatever reason, I don't know, but I generally do 1 to 2 eggs per pound. And a little bit of milk. As I say, the milk is for, it helps to keep the meatballs from not being too hard. And now I mix my own bread. This is a little chopper. It's going to sound loud. I probably had it 100 years, a $20. And you can use a panko breadcrumb or whatever. And again, I'm going to say it's just not the same. This happens to be Italian bread. You can use Italian bread. You can use American bread. This was Italian bread, and I take the crust off. You know, it might be a little bit more than what normally you will do, but it will make a difference in your meatballs. I'm just going to... And my granddaughter's necklace. Here you go, Emma. We don't put that in the meatballs. Okay, here's my... Sometimes I'll put a little bit of regular breadcrumbs too, but they tend to make the meatballs like sawdust. So I'll just mix a little sprinkle to cover. And I'm going to mix this, and then I'm going to do it again on the reverse side, only to make sure that the condiments are on all the hamburger. The most important ingredient is the garlic, and that's going to take me a couple of minutes. Let's do up some more bread. Make sure that's in good. Okay, now okay. This is the basics. For every Italian cook, you need to have parsley, basil, oregano, olive oil, butter, and garlic. You cannot cook without those ingredients. Garlic, if you put it in a grinder, will not taste good. You won't taste the garlic in the meatballs. And if you just cut it up a little bit, your meatball's going to all taste like garlic. So this is a very important step. You smash the garlic. Whenever you're doing anything, you smash the garlic. And this, I was taught by Joe Paci, who has Joe Paci's restaurant right across from the Shell on the north end of Boston. He's passed away now, but I never, ever stopped doing. You see, it's all smashed up. Mm-hmm. And again, you have to do by eye how much you want to put in your meatballs. Too little can ruin it, too much can ruin it. And when you're cooking garlic, don't ever let it brown too much, because it will leave a flavor in your food that really tastes lousy. Most recipes I have, you take the garlic out after you've cooked it. You keep the flavor in. Okay, I'm talking a lot because I'm a little bit nervous.
No, you're doing great.
Okay, so.
I don't even have any questions yet.
Okay, so this, takes a little bit. It has to really be cut to a small small piece, because if you had a piece like that in your mouth, that's all you would taste is garlic. And you judge by the amount, again, of your hamburger. I think what I'm doing is probably a couple of cloves per pound, 1 or 2 cloves, depending on the size of the clove, I guess. And even in my meatloaf, in talking with Joe Pacha, he said you have to cut the garlic by hand. You can't do it any other way. I don't know if you've seen what a garlic press is, but I might use a garlic press if I'm maybe putting it in a salad. But it really squashes the garlic up. Doesn't work well. So see, if you guys are making meatballs, this is the way you have to do it.
Now the sausages, do you have 2 different types of sausages in there?
Today I do. I have half sweet sausage and half hot sausage. The hot sausage gives sometimes a little bite in the gravy, and it's not anything, that's hot. It just gives it a nice flavor. The sweet sausage will too. Not as nice as the hot sausage. So I generally mix. Okay, well, we're almost there, guys.
Take your time.
There's no other way to do it. And this, I don't want to leave this in a lump, in one spot in the meatballs, of course. So you want to, the way that I try to do it, that's good enough. Is when I get my little extra bread, I did half of the bread on one side, and I'll sprinkle this on. And try to sprinkle my garlic so that it's not all in one spot, and hopefully the bread will help mix that up. So you see, you guys, when you're coming Christmas and Thanksgiving and all holidays, this is what I do, and this is only one thing. Okay, so that's good. I can use a little bit. I need to rinse my hands. Your grandfather might come home through the door,
We're gonna have an intermission.
saying, "Oh my God, you guys are here." So,
I like being done.
okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more of my seasonings so I didn't miss too much of the meat. And the parsley. That was, again, basil, oregano, parsley. Okay, and I forgot my grated cheese. So now, and the meat is still wet, so it's good because the grated cheese will be mixed in good. And now I'm going to put a little bit more garlic on this side. Okay, now I'll mix it up as best I can. And I'm feeling the texture.
Yeah. How are you?
I found a clip for that.
I feel the texture as I'm mixing it. And this feels good. It's not too wet. It's not too sticky. I'm very good at looks and feels and smells. If I had to taste something, I probably couldn't do it as well. The only thing I do taste is when the meatballs are cooked. I love fried meatballs before they go in the gravy. All right, that looks good. So, let's get the stuff out of the way. We'll put the sausage in this tomatoes. We'll start heating up that oil. I also like to cook the meatballs in whatever other meat I've cooked. Sometimes I might put pork ribs. But those get a little hotter. So let's heat this up to a medium to medium, a little bit high. And the garlic, I take it out because, like I said, if you keep cooking the garlic till it gets brown, too brown, it gets a very bad taste to the food. So I might add a little garlic. And this again, I can that's a little bit, don't like the look of that. Yeah. I'm usually very neat when I cook. We won't worry about that right now. Okay, so, and the skin peels off really easy when you smash it like that. And just put a couple more cloves. So this is my garlic. I always have a lot of garlic in the house. Got another clove. And this is the olive oil that I buy by the gallons. I put a little bit more oil. Okay. Crush another. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we need to let that get hot. So I'll get this stuff out of the way. Okay. Okay. It's getting there. So I need that. I don't need this. Yeah, put that. Okay, it's starting to sizzle a little. Okay. So you can make your meatballs whatever size you want. When I'm having a big crowd, excuse me 1 minute. When I'm having a big crowd, I make them smaller, especially when you have kids around, because they put 3 meatballs in their dish, and they eat a half of one. So I make them smaller. If I'm only having, you know, a bunch of us, 5 or 6 people, then I make a little bit. Okay. I think we'll do them like this. That looks good. Well, a little big. And all you have to do really is let it brown a little bit on each side. Like I said, some people can, they just throw them in the gravy like this. I'm sure we had a restaurant in high school right across the street from the high school. You couldn't even get, there wasn't an inch left in that sub shop at lunchtime. So we would see them making the meatballs and just throwing them in the gravy. And the kids would eat them like crazy. And you get so you can even tell the feel in your hand as to the size. You get them pretty much even. The first one I made too big, so I had to compensate. But this is how the old grandmas made it. Now I'm the old grandma. Papa's mom used to say I was the greatest cook, made the best meatballs, and she made the best Italian cookies, and I could never replicate her cookies, neither could she replicate my meatballs. So you learn a little bit from each one, and you pick and choose what you're good at, and that's what you make your family dinners. She always made the tray of Italian cookies, and I always made the meatballs. I made that meatball too big. Doesn't match the others. So by about the time I fill the frying pan, it would be almost time to turn over the first meatball because it should be brown on one side. And I need a regular fork to do that. So where did we start? Here somewhere. Yeah, it's getting a little brown. I'd like it just a tad more. Now if you only brown them that much and when you turn them, they feel like they're falling apart, then you know you probably did something wrong, maybe put too much milk or something. But these look like they're cooking just about right. Maybe cook them a little bit more than that. So we got 14 meatballs so far, and I'd say that's about a little bit more than a third of the mix, so that's just about right. I think, try to guess that I get 12 meatballs to a pound. That would be on the bigger side, and if you do small ones, you can get, 14 or 15 to a pound.
Looks good.
Delicious.
Is that going to be on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, we could put it on YouTube so it's easier to send to all the different grandkids.
And my, most of my stuff is like, as far as utensils and pans and things like that, I use the old stuff. Now, if I were using, what do they call it? Teflon, kind of that stuff. It does not taste the same. So everybody has to get used to their pan. You have to get used to your stove. This is up high enough. Okay. Now, if my garlic gets too brown in there, I'll take it out. If I feel like I need more of a garlic taste, I'll just add some more fresh garlic. I think we're doing good on the garlic so far, taste-wise. See, that garlic would taste delicious just like that, but if it cooked any more than that, it gets a bad taste that you can't get out of your food. This is perfect. And people that like garlic would eat it just like that. And it differs too what kind of tomatoes you use. Everybody has their favorite in tomatoes, and this is a gravy. A gravy is thick, and I keep the cover off because the more it simmers, the thicker it gets. The redder it gets, the deeper color it gets. If you want a tomato sauce, you would do it much lighter. You would add more water. You might use a whole plum tomato. And that would be more for spaghettis. You have your option if you want to take your tomatoes right out of the pan and put them in, or if you want to let them sit aside. If I'm making a lot of meat, I cook the sausage and put it aside. I cook the meatballs and put them aside. I take the pork and put it aside. And then I add them all together. You don't have to do that, but to me, the flavor comes out better in the tomatoes. Now, I've already got the sausage in there, so to put the meatballs in there wouldn't be a bad idea, except that I like to have them a little cooked. They don't seem as hot. Yeah, see, when it comes up like that, that's okay. It's, you can, like I said, I go by feel, look, and smell. These feel okay, maybe just a tad. Other than that, if they were a little bit softer, they might break up in the tomatoes. You wouldn't have meatballs. Okay. Yeah, these feel good now. I think these are good. So I'm going to put them right in. Sometimes I might have 5 or 6 that I started on one end that I might take out sooner. So I can tell by the feel. I'm not splashing you, am I?
No.
Okay. So I might just leave those in there while I add a few more, and then by then they'll be ready to go in. Some people just take a glob and do it, you know, it doesn't matter. It just depends on what, you know, what you like. I forgot to count the meatballs I put in. I know we started with, what did I say, 14?
I think so.
Because that always gives you an idea of how many meatballs you get to a pound, you know, if you want to do like something like this, or just for your own benefit to know how many meatballs you're going to feed to a crowd. So we know that this is going to be 14. Let's keep a couple cooking in case we want to have one before we put them in the gravy. This seems to be taking a little bit longer than usual. All right, so we started 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. Let's leave it at that. Oh, I took the other ones out. That's all right. And if they're just browned on each side, you probably want to cook them for at least another 20 minutes or so before you eat them. So thank you all very much. This was so much fun, and I've been dying to show somebody my meatballs for the past 50 years. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having us.
Is the pen edible? No, I don't think so.
Thank you, guys.
Is the cup edible? The couch edible?
You notice I don't change my my furniture often.
Is the couch edible? No.
All right.
Oh, did I shut this off? I ever tell my grandsons how much I love you. I just say it again. I love you. God bless.
Love you too, Nana.
How can I shove my face into my mouth?
Thank you.
I can't eat my
Thank
face.
you.
Love you, Nana.
Love you. You guys are awesome.
Is my ear? Yeah, I'm trying to pull it off.
And that's Emma, the next generation coming up. And she better learn how to make my meatballs.
Yeah. Well, now she'll be able to watch back this video.
Yeah.
Here, look.
It's not edible. It's not edible.
Get it straight.
Be edible.
Well,
I'm
this was
actually
good.
blushing.
This was good. I think we did a good job.
I hope so. I'm very, very self-conscious.
It's not
No.
be edible.
No, it looks good.
Stupid thing, be edible.
Now, I was telling Dante that,
My cheese.
you know, today with the food-conscious people, they probably wouldn't want to do it, but at the end of this, I throw like a half cup of water on that pan and like get all the grounds and everything. That's where all the flavor is, and then I throw that in the gravy.
There's
A half cup of what?
Water.
Oh, just water?
Just I put some water in there. That's olive oil at the bottom that I've been cooking with.
Oh, and then you pour it into the...
I'm trying to cook these a little bit more so you can have one. I love fried meatball much better than I love in the gravy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is cheese edible?
But a lot of times I have to break them in half to finish cooking them, you know. Make sure they're cooked inside.
Sure.
These ready to go in. Let's see. Let me get a plate.
Cam, could I go
Is
to
the
like
wooden box
with you and be alone?
Is the box edible?
Yeah, let's see.
You bit everything in the house yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there's one that looks
I have an idea.
pretty good. Who's gonna taste it?
Edible?
Dante will have to.
The fridge is edible.
Oh, can you eat?
I got the things on my teeth, so I'll have to...
Oh yeah, that's true.
Can you taste it?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
taste it.
I'll take,
Go
I'll
ahead.
take some
Those
home
are both clean
Yeah.
forks.
take some home with me, though.
This is going
Is
home.
this edible?
There's two more in there all cooked. 3 more, actually.
Is this edible? No,
What?
edible. I hate all the stuff that
Yeah,
isn't
doesn't
edible.
How's it taste?
Good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus with the sauce
Great.
it'd be even better.
Fried meatballs.
You know what?
I love this like.
Look at those meatballs.
I have an idea.
Nice piece of Italian bread.
Yeah.
Put the meatball on it and good to go.
I'll get some footage of you eating.
Oh, more?
Yeah.
Alright.
Is water edible? Is water edible?
On the plastic.
It is not edible.
That's good.
It's good.
Well, at least the water is
Awesome.
edible.
Now, if the meatball's good, you shouldn't get a real strong taste of garlic or a real strong taste of grated cheese. It just
Yeah.
all should blend in.
Tastes so good.
Okay.
Wait
This
a
lake's
minute.
so
Is-
fun.
I know one thing
Last
that's
thing you
edible.
wanna do.
Is my shirt edible?
I want one of those.
No, it is not edible.
Can I
It
take one of
has
those?
nothing edible.
Yeah, you gotta eat it on camera though.
No, I can't.
How is it?
Edible.
Delicious. Don't get any better.
I have nothing edible in this house.
You want to try some meatball?
No thanks.
I don't know if everybody would like to do that, but that nice olive oil and the fresh garlic that we cooked with, all that flavor is right in here.
Is my hair edible? It's not edible. What?
Get most of that stuff up. Cleaned your pan too. So like I said, it's olive oil, it's fresh garlic.
Looks good.
It'll make the gravy look good too.
Is my photo edible? Is my book edible? People, is my book edible? Okay. I didn't know.
Then you stir it up, or you leave it like that.
Okay, I just give it a little
Stupid
stir.
book, it is not edible.
We don't actually like to stir the gravy too much
Edible.
because as it cools, it just
This is
not boils, but as it
edible.
simmers,
Nothing in this house is edible.
it, you know, gets a nice flavor out of the tomatoes. For some reason, when you stir it too much, it doesn't do as well. So you just let that simmer up again, you'll get that nice look.